Okay, here we go. Here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Feel the Force. It's taken a new turn. Originally, it was a YouTube channel with me giving out videos about me sharing enlightened stories and insights about guiding you to a more enlightened path. That's currently work in progress. It's taking a new form. And the podcast is available now on all podcast sites like Spotify, Apple, etc., etc. And now Feel the Force has taken on another aspect, which is interviews. So we'll be interviewing the most leading edge radical people out there. We're about to have Harry Matadeen on, who is a leading holistic health practitioner. He advocates a raw diet, urine therapy, amongst other things. I met him a few years ago, and he's all about bringing out your best self through health. So, so bring out your best self through health. So let's admit him into the meeting. First time I've actually interviewed on Zoom, so do bear with me. Let's see what's going on. If he's available. Dun, 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 dun.
Yo.
Harry, how are you doing?
How you doing, bro? How you doing?
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining.
No, thanks for doing this, man. Like, this is good shit you're doing. So I appreciate it. How's life in Cornwall, man?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's very, very Cornish, and lots. I mean,
That's a good answer.
The thing about Cornwall is just you get this blast of fresh air. It's probably the freshest air in the universe. So it's quite. You can get drunk on the air.
I think so.
It's the sea air and
yeah, it's good, man. And plus the cold you're doing and all that shit, like when you do that, like Jesus Christ, that'll wake you up when you do the cold with the fresh air and shit, man. Yeah. And this is really cold.
Skip the espresso, just have a cold swim in the sea. Well, it's like 5 degrees now.
So you're right, man. You're looking good though.
Thank you.
Right,
thank you.
5 is cold, man. You're looking good though, bro. You're looking healthy and well. It's good, man.
Thank you. I could be even better with your expertise. So I've already introduced you. I've already introduced you to the show. I said you're actually my very first guest.
Oh, cool.
On this show. So
cool. What an honor. Wow. I'm honored.
I've introduced you as this you are a holistic health practitioner who advocates a raw diet and urine therapy. And I mean, anything else you wanted to add? Obviously, if you wanted to share your journey and your suggestions for making people live a better life through their health regimen, and that's not just diet, but also you talk a lot about health protocols and stuff. So if you want,
that's true, Jesse. But should I just roll with you? Should we just go?
Yeah, if you wanted to elaborate.
I was thinking too. Yeah, I will. I'll talk to you a little bit actually about before I came into physical health 4 years ago. I did a lot of work, and I don't talk about this because I don't feel it's my mastery, although it is a key part of my life and I can help you with. It's actually the mindset. I actually undone a lot of depression. Yeah. What I'm saying is I'm like a lot of you guys. Like I grew up with suicidal and depressed and really negative, and I hated people, man. And I'm not even kidding. I hated all people. In fact, this is a bit of an uncomfortable share, but it's true that I actually wanted to kill people. I just wanted to be a suicide bomber at times. I've had that thought many times. I didn't have the courage to go through with it because I was too coward. But to have those thoughts is just an indication to people of how fucked up my brain was. And I recognize now that I'm not completely healed. However, before I got into physical health, I really worked hard on facing my fears, and that was probably the thing that I did that changed my brain from darkly negative to a little bit more positive slowly, to where I am now, where I'm kind of like really positive most of the time. But it's been a long journey, man. It took 6 years. I couldn't even put a number on it, but it took many years of facing my fears constantly, in the realm, if I'm being honest, of like just chatting with strangers, going up and asking old people for directions, and then even chatting up girls that I was uncomfortable with. This made me reduce my social anxiety and made me realize that people weren't bad, and it was all me. It was all my negative thoughts about other people, because I thought people didn't care, and that wasn't true. When I started talking to people, I realized people cared about me, and that was the beginning of the journey, well before physical health, which I'm known for now. I was doing the
Yeah, of
emotional work,
course.
man. Like,
That is so profound, Harry. Thank you for sharing. I can feel that openness, which actually makes me think, you know, it has to come from you. It's like an inside job, right? Like when you open up to the world opens up to you, you know. I totally resonate with that, because like a bit like you, I was like, why is it always me who has to engage first? Why do I need to initiate it always? I always felt like it had to,
yes,
I had to start it, and like,
yes,
and I just took that as kind of like evidence that nobody really gave a shit about me, you know. But it's you
yeah,
have to take the initiative, you know. It's a bold step, but
exactly. And
that's what leaders do, you know.
I bet you, I know it's true. I bet you felt like I did. Reason why I hated the world is because I felt the world let me down. My brain was going to shit, and my brain became a really dark energy, negative vortex where I felt uncomfortable 24/7 in my brain. Literally, the only time I got a respite from this is when I slept at nighttime. I got a reset at nighttime when I slept. I woke up okay, and then as the day went on, my negative thoughts came back, and I looked forward to sleep because that was the reset. But I got negative because my brain was going to shit. It was a really dark place to live in, and the only place you got to live in is your brain and your body, right? And no one can do it for you. But here's the thing: no, I felt like no one was gonna help me. I felt like there was no one that could understand my unique thoughts and depression and all the shit I was going through. I felt like no one had the solutions for me. Not my parents, not the teachers at school, not the psychologists, nothing. And that's what made me worse. Like,
Yeah, that's not, yeah, it's like you get into this sort of dark, narcissistic, solipsistic spiral where you think that, you know, no one is suffering as much as I am. And but
exactly,
but
yeah.
I wanted to ask you, obviously, you know, there are physical protocols, but you mentioned the mindset, and I was
Yes.
wondering, what do we do to, you know, to get that evil monkey out of there, you know?
Right,
What are
I'm
the
with you.
steps
So
we can take?
I was watching guys that were talking about face your fears in life. So my fear was social anxiety with everybody, so I faced my fears with that. And what was happening with me was I understood the principle of they were telling me the principle of, in the videos, that you got to enjoy the journey and your small improvements. And that's what happened when I started. I was like improving really slowly in my social skills with people, and just getting a little bit more present, like maybe a pathetically small improvements every day. But I was like getting super happy that I was in like a 20-second conversation with an old person I could ask directions without being completely weird. Like simple things like that. Basically what I was saying to you is like, I was like deeply embodying the idea that small progress, it looked pathetic to other people, but because no one understood that I come from a dark place. So I was literally focusing on like my improvements, and not on, I wasn't comparing myself to other people, because I was way behind. I was basically not lying to myself, acknowledging I'm way behind. It's going to take me longer than other people to fix, and it's still not fixed now, but it's all good. It's literally, I just learned the skill, and I'm not perfect with it, but I learned the skill of being happy with small progress, because that's the key to life. As long as
Yeah,
you are improving in your physical health, your emotional health, your spirit, whatever you guys are working on, as long as you are improving slowly for you, because you're not
yes,
inside someone else's body. You don't know what they've been through. They might have had it a little bit easier than you. They might have had it, been gifted with social skills. They might have been gifted with physical health, all these things. So what I'm saying to you is I've always been like that. I've always been happy with my small progress, and it might look pathetic to other people, but that's all that matters. Progressing for you.
absolutely. That is so profound. And yes, we are all kind of uniquely wired, and I think it's like the ego wants to compete and compare, and it's like, oh well, he's like already 10 steps ahead, so it's like you got to not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10, and you know,
Exactly.
and let it be
And
gentle.
that can only
And
come from that.
yeah,
Let it be gentle, and that can only come through your action and your understanding that your uniqueness and your specialness, because you're all special. Everyone has different experiences and things they've been through that are completely different to you. Someone might be ahead of you in some things. Trust me, they haven't had your experiences in other things. And this is another key point. Literally, the more pain and suffering and ill health, physical, emotional, spiritual you've been through, the more opportunities you've got, the more wisdom you are going to create and generate within you to give to other people. Because the darker and the deeper the hole you go, it's a cliche, but it's fucking true. The deeper you go, the darker you go, the more smart you come. Look what happened to me. Look what happened to you. I look at a lot of light workers like us. They are so smart. I'm in awe on Facebook when I go on newsfeed sometimes and I talk to people in real life, my light workers, and they like blow my mind with intelligence. The reason why is because they've been through tough shit and they've come out of it. And even if they haven't come out of it, whatever, they're on a journey up. And that's where true wisdom comes from. Like from going down dark and making a journey up. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, it's a bit like Dante's Inferno. You know, he starts off in hell and goes to purgatory, and it ends in heaven, and realizing the how everything's interconnected, and how it's really about the moving force of the universe is love, really. And that 3-part stage is called the Divine Comedy. So it's this kind of an allegory for life itself. You know, ultimately, you know, at the highest perspective, it is a divine comedy, really, because you know, people talk about how there is, you know, at one level of perspective, disease and death, but from the highest perspective, we're all like eternal spiritual beings having these experiences.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah.
So in a sense,
and even death doesn't matter, right? I mean, even death is silly. Like, I mean, dying. What is dying, man? If we were internal at the ultimate level, like you said, what is death? That's an illusion. The facade of depression, the duality that we go through in these human bodies is just it's just a bit of fun. Is that way of looking at it? Maybe a bit of fun.
Yes, in
possibly.
A sense. It's like, you know, forgetting your divine position and playing like a drama, a role, and getting involved in this, you know, suffering, which is lack of health. But I prefer to call it contrast from what we truly are. We're just experiencing contrast. You know, people call it
right. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people like in Buddhism who say, oh, life is suffering. I say life is just a bit of contrast of what we truly are, right. because there's that the true nature of the soul is knowledge, bliss, and eternity. We are all knowing, co-creators with God or source, and we're blissful, truly. You know, that's our true nature, is bliss, and we're eternal, really. And the suffering is simply a contrast of our true nature, you know.
Right, I really like that. I really like the idea of contrast. I didn't think of that. Like, even I'm thinking, once you're talking about contrast, say that everyone was sick and diseased and crippled, you wouldn't feel bad about it because everyone's like that. Only reason why people don't like being sick and depressed and not feeling in pain is because they have the contrast with people like ourselves that are healthy and take care of ourselves. So therefore, there's the contrast again and that's a factor in happiness. Let's be honest, because I've talked to you about focusing on your own journey, but listen, I'm not an idiot. Sometimes I get caught in the trap. You get caught in the trap to comparing ourselves to other people in not always for inspiration. Sometimes I get caught in the trap too of like getting triggered. Like, for example, I get triggered all the time. Shadow work, I get triggered by people. That's me comparing myself to other people and allowing myself to get triggered. So I'm not perfect with it, but the ultimate level, you made me think that's the goal of life. Life is contrast and duality, but how about we like just make the most, because at the ultimate level we are eternal and none of this shit matters. I know it feels real, and it does feel real, and it's painful, and I've been there and you've been there. It's depression. That's a nasty state. But I'll tell you what's fun, really fun, coming up in physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, understanding. When I understood that there was a divine creator, because I grew up atheist for a long time, like, Jesus, that was fun. Like, knowing that our life has a meaning is great. It really helps with your health when you know that you're not just a random person. existing for, and life is meaningless. I think that gives me a lot of joy. It gives me a lot of purpose to help people, and same for you. That's why you do this podcast, right? You're doing this because you feel an obligation to help people, because that is our purpose. Our purpose here in the meat suit is to have fun, to learn lessons, and to help people from your wisdom, and then to gain knowledge and wisdom from other people. So we're always learning from each other. That's what I believe the purpose of life is.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a never-ending journey of learning, you know, because like if you were just, you know, this constant, thinking that you know everything, it would be a bit boring. You kind of want to experience a bit of ignorance, you know, in order to, you know, remind yourself of who you are. Yeah.
It's true.
That's
exactly. And plus, knowing everything is control as well. I think it's a control aspect to knowing everything. Like, you can't let go. Letting go is realizing you don't know much at all, really, because there's so much to learn in life. And people that know everything are just trying to control. And that's ego. That's ego. That's keeping you in a dense reality of ego, like this control thing. Like, and ultimately, the ultimate letting go is death, and our fear of death, which we all have to some degree. And some people may say they don't, and well done to them, but I do. I mean, and people have to more degree. And that's the ultimate thing we have to let go of, this idea that being attached to life, because, or at least life in its existence, while at the same time let go of that experience, but also work hard towards your goals and mastery and follow your purpose for being here. So there's a paradox to what I'm saying. Take life seriously, work your passions as hard as you can go in your dreams, but at the same time realize that this life is all fun and games, and don't be scared of death, and face your fears. I mean, Absolutely. If you face your fears in life, you'll be a great person.
Absolutely. That's what they say in Star Wars. The number one job of a Jedi is to face his fears, you know, and really go into the depths of darkness, because that's what light workers do, you know, whatever label you want to call it. It's about going into the dark, you know, balls deep, face on, you know, and just realizing that it's just a reflection, really.
Exactly. Do you know one way Jesse to do that, and to manually do that even without physical health, is to take psychedelics in high doses? I mean, maybe people might get triggered what I said here, but if you take certain psychedelics in large amounts, you will be taken to that realm whether you like it or not. That's a trick for some hardcore people out there, if you're up for it, that experiment, because then you'll be shown the nature of reality. Your ego may dissolve somewhat, a little bit, maybe completely. If you take enough of it, you'll realize divinity and all these things, and your demons will come out, your shadow will come out. There's a lot of powerful things going on with psychedelics, and that's one reason why they banned them around the world, including cannabis, but not just cannabis, all the other ones too. They class them as the same as they do alcohol. They make alcohol, cigarettes legal, but the psychedelics not so. The weed illegal. It's a crazy world we live in, because that stuff can awaken the world. Just that alone, psychedelics.
I'm so glad you've broached the subject, because I think it's a critical component, really. Without specifying, I have microdosed certain ones, and you know, it's unlocked a lot of things. It's what it does is that it expands your consciousness, and it helps you return to your original state of being, this ultimate, you know, consciousness. And of course, it's a bit scary for the ego, but what they do is that they have a sort of ego softening effect where it kind of dissolves during the trip, you know, and you become the sort of all there is consciousness. And I'll subsequently be doing an interview with someone called Stuart, who's also into sacred geometry. And one thing that was revealed to me is that the universe is perfect, and I was seeing a lot of sacred geometrical patterns, which sounds really really trippy. But it was like this everything was like a perfect structure, and within the structure there's all this flow. So it's like the universe is this perfectly structured process containing all this flow around it. And you know, it sends you to the higher dimensions, so-called.
Yeah, it's true that the dimensions that are real, it's nice for people. Do you know what I wish, Jesse? I don't regret anything in my life. Everything's perfect as it is, but I'm just making, I wonder if I took psychedelics, knew nothing about them when I was going through the worst. This was like 16, 17. I wonder what happened if I took microdoses or macrodoses of those psychedelics at that age. Would that have set me off? It probably would have. It probably would have set me on the path early, because I know a lot of people that it does. For me, I had to find out for loads of other things first, like urine therapy, emotional health, face my fears, before I got to psychedelics. And that's cool, because whatever stage you do it, I just wonder, basically what I'm saying is, if people are really suffering in our society that haven't got to the light worker stage yet and haven't had their moment of awakening, I think the psychedelics could be a great route at a young age to kind of like enforce on children that are, you know, to give them that stuff and to let them see.
Yeah, take this LSD. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say you must take LSD, right? Okay, no, but yeah, obviously I wouldn't say enforce, but they need to be really educated about what it really is, because through popular culture, psychedelics such as LSD, and MDMA and mushrooms have been kind of demonized. And in movies and TV series, you get people saying, oh yeah, I'm going to take this. And then they have like these nightmare trips, which is like not the case at all. Meanwhile, the biggest drug and killer is alcohol. And yet that is so promoted. Right. That is so promoted.
Yeah.
Whereas psychedelics are demonized completely. And what it is to be like a war on consciousness. You know, they don't want people to know that they are eternal creator beings with
exactly.
Force, you know. They don't want people to know how powerful they are, you know, that the universe, the entire universe is already inside them. You're like a holographic fractal of the entire universe, you know, in not just your physical body, but your mental, emotional, spiritual body. You know, it's just like, it's pretty profound. It's like, that's the stuff, that's really the real stuff they don't want you to know, which is why they're pushing all, you know, obviously alcohol, but also food that doesn't serve you, you know, food porn, basically. Left, right, and center, you know.
Even real porn. Well, not even food porn, like even for guys, I'm big on the real porn. And look, I get it, because I was addicted to porn for only last year, 2019, I gave it up. And that was 3 years after knowing about semen retention. So they got us addicted to males. And my problem with this, with males being addicted to porn, is that what it does by each ejaculation is it's taking away your life force energy, which is pushing you down into a lower level of consciousness, literally dropping your vibration, literally dropping your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health with each aspect. It's get you addicted to artificial stimulation and not even reality. I mean, you know, real relationships are being taken away, and real sex has been taken away by like this porn and movies, and how even it goes deeper, like even how sex is shown in movies, because it just seems to be like a 20-second job in a movie, and a guy ejaculates, and that's how it's done. So that's what guys do, without guys realizing that actually what you can do is, you can still have sex with your girl, hold your seed in, which I'm not saying is easy, and I haven't practiced this, but I know the theories and it makes sense to me. When you hold your seed in with a woman, you can actually ejaculate, and you can have, I've had orgasms in my feet, I've had orgasms in my kidneys, in my prostate. I'm working on the other stuff. I'm not at the full body orgasms, but I know it's possible for guys to have orgasms the same as women, but it will not be possible if a guy's ejaculating through porn or even with his woman every couple of days. So there's a lot of factors going with society, with how it's set up to take you away from your divinity and your true power. And like you said, it's about making them realize you're all powerful. They only see all powerful because they want to control you. The psychopaths on the top are obsessed with control, in my opinion. They're obsessed with control. Absolutely. And when they can obsessed with it, because they don't know what true happiness is. And the only way they can feel happy is by controlling you. And that's why they ban psychedelics. That's why porn is massive. That's why there's loads of crap food out there. That's why they tell us that urine therapy is a waste product. Looking at the sun is bad, and vaccines are good. That's why COVID's going on and all the bullshit. Like, it's all bullshit. By the way, I saw your post about it's quite funny about the level 10, your joke of the level 10 COVID. And because I thought of that myself, I told my parents that's so true. We're getting stupid now with the COVID, like these levels, and what the hell is going on? It's crazy.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they're just trying to see how stupid people are. You know, are they going to keep complying? You know, I think they're just
I think so.
They're just having a big, like, it's like a dark comedy up top. They're just having a laugh, and it's like, all right,
Yes.
let's see what bullshit we can push next that people are going to buy, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, if I were them, I would do the same thing, to be honest. But obviously,
Well, yeah.
we're not the bad guys. But but I'm so glad you brought up the subject of porn, and any guys who are watching this, it's very important. It's such a taboo subject because it's like the elephant in the room, because like 80-90% of the internet is porn, and it's very topical with the whole child porn thing, and trying to legitimize pedophilia and transgenderism, which is
quick one, Joe Biden. I don't know if you, I
oh
believe
yeah, of
Joe
course,
Biden's a pedophile. And we've got a new pedophile president right now. Jesus Christ. And Trump's being impeached. What the fuck? I'm not saying Trump is good, but shouldn't you like murder Joe Biden and impeach him instead of having a little Trump and being impeached there? Like, they've got the wrong man. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. I won't be surprised if this is censored, but I don't care really. We're just having a blast here. But yeah,
it's all good, man.
With the porn thing, obviously, like you, like every young man on the planet, under 40 or 50, I'm sure has had their. You there?
Yes, what happened there? Sorry. Yep.
Yeah. I think every young man on the planet has had their issues with porn, and it's difficult because
including me.
People need to be educated about ejaculation, which is why I would recommend reading Taoist sexual stuff.
Yep.
The Taoist.
Or my new book, which I'm writing.
Harry's new book. Read Harry's new book. Well, what's it called, Harry?
Semen Retention. It's called Semen Retention and the Power of Growing Your Hair Long. 2-in-1 for people. 2 powerful health protocols. But the one I'm really focusing on, 90% of the book, is semen retention. Because growing the hair long is cool and it's powerful medicine, but I know much more on semen retention. It's so powerful, bro. And I agree with you. And I quote a lot of Taoists. In it. Now, listen, the only reason why. This is the way I recommend to guys to slowly addict yourself, and it's unaddict yourself of porn. It's a journey. It's literally to go on semen retention runs of like 4 days, 7 days. Try that out, and it's not going to take too much discipline at the beginning to do 4-7 days, and see how you feel compared to ejaculating every couple of days or even twice a day as a young man. Give that a go. Once I got the energy flow, once I experienced the energy, the abundant energy from conservation for only 7 days. And onwards, but from about the 7th day, I started getting addicted to it. And when you get addicted to feeling good, you don't go back. And then, yes, you might slip up. You go 2 steps forward, 1 step back always. It means you go back to porn, you go back to fapping again, all that bullshit. But eventually, it took me maybe from knowing it 2.5 years. So it might take you longer, it might take you less, but it's a journey. But once you get addicted, because it's about the energy, man. It's about the confidence. It makes you more of a man. Women get attracted to you more. If you guys want to play that angle, and I'm a straight guy. Look, women get attracted. You probably noticed this, Jesse. Women literally more aura.
Yeah, there's more magnetism. I've gone celibate. I've gone celibate for months on end, and I've just attracted women like flies, just effortlessly.
Right.
It's like alchemy. It's like alchemy. It's amazing. So it's really a hands-off. It's a hands-off approach.
I mean, there's a million reasons. Like your voice gets deeper. That's attractive to women. You get more confidence. You become the masculine. Part of the masculine's purpose here is always, I believe, the divine masculine is to face his fears and to push for his comfort zone. Now that gets easier when you do semen retention because you have so much more energy. You have so much more confidence to take risks. So ultimately, semen retention makes you more of a risk taker. I don't mean unhealthy risks like jumping off a roof. I mean like risks in terms of your business, in terms of what you want out of life. Literally, there's like so many reasons. Because here's the real motivator for these kind of things. Once you not just have one reason to do something, once you start thinking your brain of like 20 different reasons, your brain has got like, I'll do semen retention because of this, that, this, and not logically, it's all going in the background. You've got so many different reasons, like I want to give value to these people, I want to do it for myself, I want to do it for this reason, that reason. Once you start connecting the dots of many reasons, that's why I write the book on semen retention, because in the book I've gone through all my reasons and all the science that I know of, because I know that it's different for different people. Some guys don't care about attracting women at this point in life. Cool. But then they might care about their physical health. Some guys might care about attracting women. I'll go to them. So you just work with guys where they're at. But One thing I will say quickly, Jesse, is that I've noticed on YouTube, the two things that are blowing up from what I've seen is urine therapy, number one. Number two, even bigger than urine therapy, in my opinion, semen retention is blowing up all over the YouTube. And these are just normal guys. I'm not even sure if they're light workers or what, but it's blowing up, bro. It's going to be
really
huge.
promising.
It's
That's
really going to take off.
absolutely promising. So one thing before we move on to urine therapy about semen retention is that for those of you who don't know about Taoist practices, they recommend for males to ejaculate maximum twice a month. And I think that's very reasonable. Ejaculation feels amazing. And some guys will be like, well, why, if it's bad for you, why does it feel amazing? And that's because God wants you to make babies. That's the real reason, you know, but it's been perverted by, you know, the dark controllers through porn, by thinking you need to conquer women by splashing everything on their face, you know, all the time, you know, and it kind of badly wires your brain to think that women need to be like dominated and subdued with the seed, you know, you know, on various parts of their body.
It's true.
That's porn in a nutshell.
Yeah,
but
and by the way, Jesse, just to add to what you're go on, carry on. Sorry, mate, I interrupt. Yeah. No, you carry on. I want to listen.
This is your show.
Okay, so I was thinking, I agree with you, by the way, that it does feel amazing ejaculation, but once you experience the internal orgasm, like the ones I've had on my feet and my kidneys and my prostate, I'll tell you what, though, they actually feel better, and I'm not even lying. And I'd say they're not even that hard to do. Read my book coming out next few weeks. Follow my stuff for free on YouTube and all that stuff. But not only that does it feel better, but it also lasts longer than like 5-10 seconds of like, because you get the nice feeling after ejaculation, but then you get a massive slump. I don't know about you, but I always feel tired and lack of energy after each ejaculation. And that's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also feel like I need food as well, like to replace it. But yeah, absolutely. It is the internal orgasm, or injaculation, not ejaculation, is actually the superior orgasm. It is it's 10 times more powerful once you've mastered it. And I've had male friends ask me, Jesse, can you teach me how to do that? without it sounding too gay. But yeah, there are like, if you get all these ancient Taoist medical books, they have like diagrams on like where to press to get the internal orgasm, so you get the circulation, you know, and it's rejuvenating. So highly recommended.
Yeah.
So Harry, you've probably talked about this a million times, but why urine therapy? Just to convince our viewers here.
Right. So after I did the emotional health journey, well, I've always been open-minded. That's the key for me. And reading books. I'm a bit like you and many other people, a bookworm. So I read a book called Your Own Perfect Medicine. Now I didn't even know it was about urine. I just saw it had loads of Amazon reviews. It was called Your Own Perfect Medicine by Christy. Have you read that?
No, I haven't.
It's a really good book, and what in that book, and I didn't even know it was about urine, it just had loads of reviews, and I always go on loads of reviews on Amazon, 5 stars. So I read that in one day in a park in Birmingham, and I was like, I've got to try this thing. It was just science upon science of the reasons why, from 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, suppressed science on the medical reasons, scientific reasons why urine was amazing. So I drank my urine. And my first morning, fresh, for the first time in my life, I'm ready to take a risk. That's what I meant about calculated risks earlier, not like stupid risks. It was a calculated, smart risk. And guess what? I had loads of energy. It removed my depression. I didn't even realize I was depressed at that point. From tap water, I was depressed. I was drinking tap water and all these shitty drinks. And yeah, it just woke me up, bro. And from that moment on, I got excited. I went on Facebook, added myself to loads of Facebook groups, of which you're a part of, I think, the Activation of the Christ, all the urine therapy groups. Yeah. And I started learning about fresh urine. Within months of that, I was learning about aged urine and trying that out. And that took me to another level of health. And literally, I remember at the beginning, I was doing it every day quite a lot. Do you know what, Jesse? The thing was most exciting is it put me to a new level of consciousness. such a drastic level of different consciousness. But here's the thing, I knew it was free. So I thought, I don't have to pay any money for this shit. No money's being drained on. I wasn't rich. I'm still not rich now. I don't have loads of money, and it's made for free. I can make it every day. Boom. Changed my life, gave me the energy, put me into the position I'm in now. What woke me up into the physical health community was urine therapy and the power of the waste product. Yeah.
Indeed. And how can you just dispel the notion that urine is toxic waste? Because when you go, when a normal person like Google's urine therapy, they say it's obviously discredited as you know, it's all toxic waste. So what can we do to show people the evidence that actually it is transformative?
Right. Well, I know what me and you did. We drank it and found out that that's the real experience. But I know that a lot of people won't want some literature before they take the plunge. Well, there's many things they can do. They can read my 2 aged urine books. They can read Martha Christie's Your Own Perfect Medicine. Also, John Armstrong wrote a book in the 40s that probably woke us all up. The Water of Life by John Armstrong. Wow, that book, Martha Christie's book. What else can they do? They can go on to Facebook. Thousands of people are on our Facebook urine therapy groups. And most of all, they can start the journey of realizing that this system has got so many lies out there, whether that be sun causes cancer, don't look at the sun, urine is a waste product, vaccines are good for you. Jesus, there's literally so many lies. Once you start realizing one big lie they've told us, then it'll be easier for you to understand the other lies. And one of the other lies is urine is a waste product, deliberately set up there to keep people unhealthy. Deliberately.
Exactly. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And some people say, you know, oh, it tastes nasty and a bit salty, but that actually, when you taste your urine, it's a reflection of what your diet's like. So you know you're actually doing okay when your urine tastes like normal water, or the best is like coconut water. That's when you know
coconut water.
That's when you know it's like
really
yeah. So obviously with aged urine protocols, would it be best to preserve the urine for how long? 2 weeks more?
Right, just before I get to the aged urine, I want to say quickly that I agree, by the way, the taste of the urine is a great indicator of your health, but that should not stop people watching here, despite whatever diet they think is good or bad, or how much junk food they're eating or not fasting. All urines, even if it's nasty tasting, it works miracles in the body. Yes, it does have a small amount of toxins in it, but if you're comparing it to the medicine, every single urine, ultimately, every single fresh urine you can take, you should have no reason not to do it. And if it tastes nasty, you know, you can chase it down with juices or something, or you can dilute it, or even take a little bit under the tongue. Like even a small amount in homeopathic doses is better than none, and that's powerful stuff. So that's the first one. About the aged urine, though, that's a complicated topic. Kind of complicated because how powerful, I don't know if there's any official ways of aging urine, apart from the fact that I say that just like every day that it gets, I think we had agreement here, every day you collect your urine in a bottle, whether closed lid, open lid, plastic or glass, you just contain urine in a vessel, and every day that you let it sit there, it grows a bit more powerful. And I think there's agreement in the community that's true. Now, what is aged urine? I don't know the official stats. I just know that if it's old, like a couple of months old, even 1 month old, it's really powerful. The older you leave it, the darker color it gets, and the more powerful the medicine is. But let me tell you guys, it is more powerful than fresh urine. It's like comparing a baby's wisdom to an adult. Like there's a huge difference there. Fresh urine is amazing. It will do many things for you. But if you want that next level, the next level is aged urine, which anyone can do. It's so simple to do. You just pee in a bottle and close the lid and leave it there.
Great. And when it comes to like self-healing protocols, if someone has, you know, inflammation or like organ trouble in their organs, like liver problems, can that be helped with aged urine or urine therapy?
Yeah, if you've got any kind of diseases, like you said, liver problems, anything, constipation, serious shit, you can deal with fresh urine, aged urine. But aged urine is like the power of 10, like if it's a couple of weeks old, and if it's 6 months old, it's probably 100. Like it's like such a difference. Basically, aged urine is this: it's negative ions, abundant negative ions. It's alkalinity, which we know cures cancer and all diseases, because no disease, no COVID can, if that's real, can survive in an alkaline environment. It's like the terrain thing. So when you master the terrain with, flood your body with the aged urine, the alkalinity, the oxygen, it gives you oxygen, so much oxygen, it slows your breath down, bro. It slows your breath down. You start becoming a monk. Like when you take aged urine, your consciousness level goes. I mean, this is another thing you just have to experience. You take a zip of a couple of old aged urine, a couple of months, and it's like, whoa, where have I gone to? What planet am I on? Like, you're on Earth,
great.
man.
Absolutely. You kind of end up feeling semi-etheric, you know, almost like ethereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when it comes to, you know, friends and family, you know, in your circle, what would you say about the boundaries? Because obviously there are friends and families who might have very low vibrational, dense diets, you know, and they can kind of lure you back into like eating meat or drinking, you know. How do we have better boundaries with them, would you say, in your experience?
Yeah, well, from my experience, I know that my parents know I've wrote books on aged urine, and I know that it's very difficult, urine therapy, for other people to understand. It's just hard because we're dealing with our friends and family that don't get it. So you've got to be careful, especially with aged urine, because it does smell if you put it on your skin. I mean, one great way to take aged urine on is the smell, but it takes a few hours to rub off. So I've developed, after making a lot of mistakes, bro, being smelly on buses and all these kind of embarrassing things, I've learned how to little tricks to get to not annoy the matrix lot, and that includes just not when I'm with my parents, I don't tell them I'm doing it. Just a few lies here and there, and I'm not doing urine therapy, and don't worry, and I don't make sure I don't smell, and I do it at night time if I do the aged urine massaging, and in the morning I wake up. And I keep plugging away, but sometimes you've got to realize that there's no point in pushing people that aren't ready for this information of what your diet and your urine therapy is like, because they're not ready. Your families, some of your best friends are just not ready for that. You've got to keep doing your work. You're a light worker here to, do you know what I think a light worker, yours and other people watching this goal is? Your goal is to pass on your wisdom to other light workers. It's not really to wake up the masses. It's to just, for me to share knowledge with you so I can learn from you and you can help me. And that's how we grow. We're not really here to wake up the masses in mass numbers. That's on them, because we've seen that we can't do that really. You've seen it with, you know, your friends and family. I've seen it with my friends and family. It's really hard. And if you do try too hard, you're going to get depressed. You're going to get depressed down that angle. You know, that's not good.
Precisely. I mean, yeah, of course, when it comes to like having boundaries about it, it makes me realize you don't have to be 100% transparent when it comes to what you do with your own body, you know, which is why, you know, this whole medical fascism has been so absurd with the whole COVID thing, and you know, who's healthy, who's not, and quarantining, quarantining, people who are completely healthy. And calling them asymptomatic, you know, and stuff like that. It's like there seems to be a...
Have you noticed something with the COVID? Have you noticed something with the COVID that even if it's real, the people that are dying, they'll admit, according to their stats, that 90% of people dying are like 80 plus, and like the other 10% is like 70 plus, hardly any 50-year-olds, and like virtually no young people. Shouldn't people actually realize then that isn't necessarily the Pasteur argument of the germ theory? That's the terrain, because the older you get, the lower your immune system. You've got to die of something, right? At 90, 80 years old, your immune system's down. So if this thing is real, the reason why most people die from it are old is because they are fucking old, and the young people will be okay as long as you take care of your health. Like it's very obvious that the germ theory is bullshit, and the terrain is everything. When you take care of your terrain and you're young or middle-aged and healthy, you'll be fine. You don't need to worry about this shit. Just look after yourself.
And obviously cures such as hydrochloroquine that have been, you know, promoted by the doctors and nurses with integrity have been completely, they're trying to push it under the carpet.
Right.
Which goes to show
Yep.
that it's not about finding a cure, it's about control, you know? And, and I mean, it's such an important subject, health with a capital H, you know, like Harry, health. And what's happened
it's huge.
and what's happened in the world in the last year with this, you know, these ridiculous impositions, all,
Yep.
you know, under the guise of trying to protect you, you know, from yourself.
Right. And same with the vaccines.
From yourself,
same with the
who
vaccines,
is healthy,
now,
you know?
yeah.
It's
Exactly. You need protecting for yourself. And now I've seen in the papers, I keep an eye on the papers, not to be brainwashed, to see what's going on. And the front of the papers today is like, oh, the government's got 21 million vaccines out. And everyone's really excited now in the UK because now they've got centres, high streets, 6 high streets in the UK have got the vaccines. They're going to push out and roll out a hell of a load in the next couple of weeks. And this is like the savior, because always part of their agenda was to control. And now their control is, okay, we've got the COVID out there. We got them in fear. We got the mutations in Brazil and now the UK. So now we're going to push the vaccines and everyone's going to love them. Everyone's going to look at the vaccines and go, there's my savior, not realizing the vaccines are going to hurt your health for everybody. But also the vaccines are, again, what you said, they're laughing at us. They're going, oh, look, we can pinprick you with this bullshit and let us laugh because everyone's going to love it. It's stupid. It's really quite depressing if I think about it. The way that the Matrix, the British people have just lapped up the vaccines, bro. It's going to get bad the next few weeks, I think. Really bad.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, they already voted that they wouldn't be mandatory, but I feel there will be a lot of, you know, kind of virtue signaling and social pressure, you know, like, oh, darling, have you taken the vaccine? Oh, why not? How selfish of you, you know, like.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the key point you bring up, actually, the social pressure aspect. That's what they want. They want the normal people to pressurize us. They're going to pressurize the anti-vaxxers to all take it and try and make us feel bad. But what will happen with that, if that really does get bad, is I'll just bugger off. I won't stay around people. I never really wanted to be around people, the Matrix lot too much anyway. But if they try and do that stuff on me, I'll just leave. I don't want to be around. I won't be told. I will never be told. And I'm sure you're the same. Many other people are going to literally refuse to the dying breath. I mean, that sounds ridiculous. And that sounds like we're heroes. But I mean, I believe that. I think we'd rather die than take the vaccine.
Oh,
in many
yeah,
cases,
100%. And I think it will come to a point where there's like a wall is physically, literally created between those who want to live in fear and slavery and people who want to live in love and freedom. You know, it's like, if you want your fear and slavery and vaccines, you know, do your thing, but we're going to build a wall and actually have our own, you know, fun, whatever, so to speak. But I hope it doesn't come to that. But from what I'm gathering, there will be a critical mass of people who won't be taking these things. And I think that's very promising. Which means that, you know, the dark controllers or whatever, they need to back the fuck off, you know, because they'll realize, oh shit, okay, and then they'll come up with something else like, oh, only for those who want it, and you know, some bad excuse, you know.
I think you're right. And I feel like the critical mass you talked about is true, because I've noticed since 2012, there's been more and more people waking up. Yes, I know we're not the majority yet. I'm not being stupid, but I know that there's been a huge transformation. 9/11 woke people up a load. And now this COVID is going to wake up. Ultimately, whatever they do is detriment. The powers that be, the evil people, because there is an evil people in this world, that whatever they do is detrimental to their own agenda. So ultimately, again, with the COVID, all that's going to happen when we look back at this in 5-10 years time, say this blows over in a couple of years, when we look back at this in the history, all that's going to happen is they just woken up another load of people. They're losing the war. They are literally losing the spiritual war that there's going on right now. They're losing it, and that this COVID is their they think their final weapon, but it's they're losing it. Everyone's waking up from it.
It makes you wonder, like, how intelligent are they, and don't they know what karma is? You know. because
Right. Karma, yeah.
yeah, it's like you want to take them to a
Yeah.
Karma 101 class, you know, and just like, you know, when you do this.
Yeah, but you see, when you're obsessed with control, when you're
Yeah.
obsessed with control and manipulation, they don't believe it. When you have to control a situation, you have to control people to be happy. As psychopaths in their psychology, they literally have to control. They can't be happy as we are happy having a conversation and conversing as humans. Because I think a lot of some of them aren't even human. Some of them have reptilian minds. I'm not saying they're reptilians. I'm saying that the psychopath mind is a reptilian. It's a very survivalist, doesn't get joy out of conversation. It does get a little bit of joy, a taste of human joy out of control and manipulation and doing evil shit. So that's their version of it. And ultimately, they get so bad for them, they can't even work together. Like they seem like they're working together right now, but at the very deep levels, they can't. So they're going to destroy themselves. It's ultimately what's going to happen. They're going to destroy themselves because they can't work together.
That's fascinating. So yeah, just to wrap this up, when it comes to health and obviously mindset, which you mentioned in the beginning, I think that the key to complete health is seeing past all this and feeling forgiveness, because forgiveness is a very healing vibration, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's key.
Yeah.
And even something I struggle with. I've got a few people in my life that are close to my family members that if I'm being honest, I need to work on forgiving too. I mean, ultimately, do you know what I think, Jesse? I think the ultimate goal for us in life is to be compassionate and accepting of everyone's journey. And that includes our friends and family that don't love us, and just to work on ourselves in our highest vibration and focus only on what we can change, what we can affect. And what's within my control and your control is us, and spreading knowledge within our communities and groups. We shouldn't take on a responsibility of trying to change the world. I see people get depressed because they see the world's in pain and they're trying to take on too much, but you're only one person, and it's so hard, life in duality, even for me and you. So yeah, please don't overwhelm yourself, guys. Just keep focusing yourself, do what you're doing, change your brain slowly, take heart from the journeys of people like myself that have literally transformed from deeply negative to liking people. And that's not to be snuffed at. That was really fucking hard. Like my parents still think it's like a little joke that I haven't done much, but that was seriously like hard to rewire my brain. There's nothing harder than rewiring your brain. Healing your trauma is so hard. And looking at your shadow, getting triggered, and all these things we got in our mind. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Harry, thank you so much for being here today and for being my debut guest as well. It's such an honor.
Thanks.
So
thank you, Jess, for having me. Thank you.
Next time we'll probably go. I'll probably ask you back if you want to come back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We can go deeper into the contents of your books and et cetera, et cetera. So if any of you have any comments or questions, put it in the slot below. And Harry, do send me a link to your books so I can put them in the comments in the description box as well for people to read, etc.
Perfect. I will do that. I'll just tell people quickly as well. My Instagram, my Facebook's full, so don't add me on Facebook anymore. My Instagram has got infinite amount of people. So I've got Holistic Health with Harry. Also, that's my YouTube and my Instagram. So nice and easy for people to remember. They just type in Holistic Health with Harry. They will have the information. I think it went off there for a second.
Holistic Health with Harry. Is that all?
Yeah, that's my YouTube, my Instagram.
All capitals or?
Good question. No, in Instagram it's all one word, underscored, just lowercase, and in YouTube you've got to put a gap in it. So it's Holistic Health with Harry gaps, but in Instagram it's just one word, lowercase.
Holistic Health with Harry. Brilliant. Harry, thank you so much for being here tonight. And until next time, Harry, much love. And for all of you, be free, have fun, and have faith. So thank you, Harry. Much love.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Jess.
All right. Take care.
Yeah. Same to you, brother. Cheers.
Bye. See ya. There we go, folks. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to, till next time. See you.